First and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hand loose land. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and I learned that fixing back. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show live fan page on Facebook, Martin Houston Live on YouTube, at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. Give us a like, give us a follow, share us, tell your family and friends about the good things happening right here on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9. This is the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Alabama sports, your show, your team. Got a great show lined up for you. Want to encourage you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904. Got a little deal, no deal for you today. We'll run through the Bama grades. It's Wild Card Wednesday as well, so we'll mix a little bit of stuff from around the league, the country, or miscellaneous topics that we'll bring into the conversation. But like I said, if you have a deal, no deal question, or you just like to get in on the conversation, something we may have brought up yesterday that we didn't get to today, and you'd like to talk about it, so give us a call, 205-342-9904. And once again, go out there and be a difference maker today, much like Mr. Bryce Young was on Saturday. Congratulations to Bryce Young on week 1 as a starter, named the SEC Offensive Player of the Week. No surprise there. Clearly stood out this week as one of the top players in the country and may very well have not seen any polls or anything like that. Very well could be the Heisman front runner after week 1. I have a segment I've done in the past called Pump Your Brakes. Should we be pumping the brakes on Bryce Young and the hype train, or did he more than exceed your expectations? You're welcome to call us up and tell us how you feel about Mr. Bryce Young, the quarterback of the University of Alabama football team. A couple other good stories for you to go check out at Tide 100.9 on today. Don't have all the details, but there suffered a knee injury to one of Alabama transfer point guards. You can find out more detail on that by going to tide109.com. Also, a player who Bama fans, older Bama fans, Joe, will absolutely 100% know and recognize in the history and folklore, tradition of Alabama football. Sam the Bam Cunningham, running back for USC, passed away at 71. For those who don't know, Sam the Bam Cunningham very well may be part of the reason that Alabama was able to make such a great run in the 70s, as he helped to do as much to integrate the University of Alabama, if the stories are true, as any player for Alabama in terms of integration. Have you ever heard the stories, Joe, of Coach McKay and Coach Bryant supposedly colluding?
Apparently, as the story goes, Coach Bryant wanted to recruit black players, and minority players, and knew he could not. And he knew that USC had a really good team, a really good interracial team, and I think he set himself up to get beat.
Yeah, he supposedly there was a gentleman's agreement that he would play out there, and they come out here and play, and as a result, the powers that be that were anti-integration of the University of Alabama football would see what they were precluding or limiting or stopping from integrating into the team. And Sam the Bam Cunningham came out here and absolutely violated the Alabama pride. And story has it thereafter, Alabama was an integrated football team. And of course, since that time, Alabama has been integrated. And Alabama won quite a few nationals in that run during that period. But it set up one of the greatest decades until Coach Saban has come along and had a better one. Coach Bryant clearly had one of the greatest decades ever in the 70s. So Sam the Bam Cunningham, not an Alabama guy, but key to the history of Alabama football, passed away at age 71. It's I also undoubtedly Jalen Hurts is doing more than just starting quarterback. Must be showing himself to be a good teammate and a leader, as he was able to be named team captain for the Philadelphia Eagles. And so, like I said, that's a lot of stories that you can go to Tide 109 and get more details on each and every one of those stories that have been mentioned this morning. We hadn't really talked much about other SEC programs. Joe, who's seat hottest, Ed Orgeron or the new coach at Vanderbilt?
Ed Orgeron for sure.
How hot is Ed Orgeron's seat? You and I talked about that particular game, and we thought UCLA was not necessarily a great team. We thought Hawaii was a really bad team. So where does that put LSU? Is it the team? Is it the coaching? Is it the talent? What is going on at LSU?
Martin, I didn't see any of the UCLA LSU game. You know how it goes on Saturday.
Yes, yeah.
Basically, only going to be able to watch Alabama and get wrapped up into work. So I just know the score, and that's about all. And I know Coach O comments walking into the stadium, we're gonna beat you in your Sissy Blues shirt, and UCLA comes out victorious. I think Chip Kelly's a good coach. I think they've got some good offense. I think that Coach O, just it sounds like his team wasn't ready to play.
Hey, hold on. Let me go back. Curtis Lewis telling me the story is not true. Let me put some preface around the story of what we told about Sam the Bam Cunningham is true in the sense that Coach McKay and all that. Now, Coach Bryant had managed to get a couple of players, but he had done that against resistance. Let me make sure, because I think the game may have happened in 70, 71, somewhere in that time. And
they played in Alabama and 71.
Right. Right.
And we're on the team.
Right. And so I know Curtis is saying that the story is not true. It wasn't that he had not been able to get a couple of players. It was that he had resistance. So let me make sure that the story is told. It wasn't when he was able to start recruiting. It was when he got buy-in that he would be able to recruit. And from that point on, the history changed. So want to make sure that not insinuating in any way that no black player had been recruited. And of course, there had been a couple of black players who were already on the team before Mitchell. So, but in terms of the integration and the acceptance, and I'm talking about not from Coach Bryant doing it, I'm talking about from the administration and the public. So I thank Curtis Lewis for helping make sure that we tell the whole story and leave no one misunderstanding. But the story of Coach Bryant and Coach McKay setting that up, because the games had to be scheduled before the players had been, those two players, I think, had been even offered scholarships. But those two definitely were in cahoots from what history says. So going back to LSU and UCLA. UCLA and LSU, Coach Orgeron, that dude won a national title, and it's been tough on him ever since. So I don't know does he survive, even if they have a good year, because the program, Joe, is definitely not trending in the right direction. And of course, UCLA could be a good team. Who knows? But because last year LSU had a similar start to their season, right? And everybody was like, "Oh my God, Mississippi State's going to be unbelievable. Oh my God, Mississippi State's this, and this." It wasn't because LSU's bad, and we saw that was not the case. Well, he started off another season with that same type of thing. So we'll keep our eyes and ears on that particular situation. But of course, you can't be excited about Vanderbilt in the fact that they got beat 23-3 by an FCS school. So it's not a good thing up in Tennessee, in Nashville either. But at least it was his first game and not his second season post-national championship. We'll continue the conversations right here on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial, Martin Houston Show. We'll have a little deal, no deal coming out of the break. If you have a deal, no deal question, please post it on Facebook, and on the chat, social media outlets, or call us at 205-342-9904. We will have in the second half, as we end the second half, we will have Scotty Hollins, Johnson Marshall Dentistry, Christian Moment of the Week joining us as well. Thanks for listening to the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet on the roadways this Wednesday morning. Please drive carefully, and if you do see conditions, give us a call, 205-886-8886. Townsend Nissan of Tuscaloosa has a great selection with low finance rates, extra rebates. Go save a bundle at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
If you're a homeowner or business owner and need glass installation, sales, or repair, call 345-3511 and talk to the Glass Pros at Alabama Central Glass. They specialize in beveled mirrors, window glass, furniture tops, insulated glass replacement, storefront, shower doors, tub enclosures, and acrylic. Alabama Central Glass also has vinyl windows, and they offer residential window repair. Call 345-3511 or visit the Alabama Central Glass showroom at 3878 Greensboro Avenue, Tuscaloosa.
Hey, Bama fans, before you head to the stadium to watch the Tide roll, stop by JD's Market and Spirits for all your tailgating needs for Bama football games. Located only 3 blocks from the stadium, JD's offers over 500 liquor items, 400 wine items, and a huge selection of craft, domestic, and imported beers. JD's also has hot dogs, snacks, ice, and game day supplies. Everything you need for tailgating. JD's Market and Spirits, 400 yards from Bryant-Denny Stadium on the west side. Call 722-2113.
Don't miss a play at the Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Your front row seat to all the action. Place bets on all professional and most college sports at the counter, kiosk, or on your phone. Then catch the game on one of our 20 big screens from the comfort of the newly remodeled Timeout Lounge. Plus, the PRR Sports app gives you access to live, in-play sports betting. Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Be more than a fan. Be a player. Must be 21. Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Got partially sunny today. A chance of widely scattered showers or thunderstorms through early tonight. The high today 88, the low tonight 64. Tomorrow and Friday, lots of sunshine both days and not as humid. Highs between 83 and 86. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 73 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith of Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmartdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook. Tide 100.9 traffic. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Alabama, still the best team in the land with the best player in the conference and maybe even the best player in the land. If you got any thoughts and comments on where Bryce Young sits, should we pump the brakes or should we go all in on the Bryce Young train? He definitely played like a man that could be the best in the land. Give us a call, 205-342-904. Time for a little deal, no deal. So I'll toss it across the glass to you, Mr. Joe, for question number one.
Martin, a little deal, no deal on a wild card Wednesday. I was watching the Alabama beatdown of the Miami Hurricanes, and I thought to myself, man, Martin, there's no one on this earth that is going to stay with this college football team this year, as there was no one on this earth that stayed with the college football team last year. Pretty much the way Nick Saban's been running things. So, deal or no deal, Martin Houston, Nick Saban and Alabama have ruined college football.
Well, I guess it's based on which fan base you support. I will tell you, in our household, Joe, we even got tired of watching the game by the end. You know, you have to change your mindset. If as we were watching that game, I had to go from, okay, man, I can't wait to see Alabama play. Can't wait to see what this offense can do. Can't wait to see how good our defense is. Can't wait to see the new fresh players. Can't wait to see okay, which guy is going to be the backup, you know, and who are these new guys? You know what I mean? So your excitement, you were trying to find a way to be excited. So I wouldn't say has ruined college football, Joe, because I think what I saw Saturday was that there may be some interesting games or some interesting opportunities through, even though Alabama clearly looks like the cream of the crop. I did see some potential changing of guards or some movement. Oklahoma didn't seem as strong. Notre Dame is a team that always gets love. Looked like Florida State took them to the mat. You know, you look at, can Georgia's offense get better? If their offense gets better, are they a legit, you know, challenger to Alabama? So I'm going to say no, not a deal. Ruined football, but it has made it very, very difficult for all the other fan bases to enjoy college football, especially after week one, Joe. They have to be going, well, maybe next year. So,
yeah, I don't know how anybody can convince themselves, not even Georgia fans, that they have a chance of playing against Alabama. And it sucks a lot of joy out of the sport. I was asking someone the other day, Martin, when was the last time your heart rate went above 90 in an Alabama game?
Well, you'd have to go back a few years. It's been a while. We've not really.
Yeah, lost in 19, right?
Well, I would say we got pretty hyped against Ole Miss last year.
Yeah, people bring that up as their argument. Ole Miss and Florida were close last year, but no, they weren't. It was just Ole Miss. It was just Lane Kiffin showing off his pretty little offense. They never had a shot to really overcome Alabama.
But it made you stay intense. If Alabama's offense faltered, we would have lost that game.
It kept it just interesting enough for me to want to keep it on my TV.
Right. And at that point, Joe, you have to remember now, we didn't know that Mac Jones was going to be Mac Daddy, Heisman Trophy. We knew he was good. So it was a little interesting there because we had more confidence in, I think if you were to ask people, they had more confidence in Ole Miss's offense than they did our defense. So it made you stay connected and going, okay, come on, Mac, y'all got to do it. And Mac just kept delivering and kept delivering. So in a way, it actually made the game even more exciting because, you knew that we couldn't falter on offense against them. And kind of the same way against Florida on the defense. Do we need to go ahead and bring that caller in, Joe?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll bring in Robert, and that'll segue the next deal or no deal because that's perfect. You bring up Mac Jones. My next deal or no deal, I'll send it to both you, Martin Houston, and you, Robert, from Mobile. You're on with the Martin Houston Show. Deal or no deal, Bryce Young is the best Alabama quarterback that Nick Saban has ever had.
Wow. Robert, I'll let you go first.
Okay, well, we can't go there because right now it's Mac Jones after full season. This is definitely there. We may be saying it at the end of this season. But right now, no, I can't say that yet because, like I said, he has done what Mac Jones has done yet. I haven't seen 4,500 yards yet, 70+% completion yet for a whole season, the championship. So he does all that and he beats it. Okay, then we can talk. Hey, the trouble with I'm sorry, you want to go ahead, Martin?
Yeah, I would say if you look at it from the fact of what he did Saturday, and you project it forward, the question may have to be a deal, Joseph. And this is what I would say. I would say the last three quarterbacks are all starting on Sunday at Alabama. And Bryce Young did not show his legs on Saturday. So he has a little bit of that. I mean, I saw him in high school. One game he ran for like 300 and something yards. The next week he threw for 400. So he has that in him. He just didn't show it. So he has a little bit of that Jalen in the athletic ability. He has the accuracy of Tua and the arm talent of Tua. And he has the smarts of Mac Jones. So I would say in this sense, if you project forward based on what he is, he's all three of those guys in one package. So I'm going to say deal if he projects forward. So.
Oh, now you're hedging it.
I mean, I'm just, of course, if he falters and he's a bum, it's going to be his fault, not my projection. Right? Right. What else you got for us, man? You were about to ask another question.
The best, better than Mac Jones.
Do what now?
Okay, how you deal with the injuries? That's why, you said right now we can't say he's the best. The ceiling's definitely there, though. That's his ceiling to be the best.
Yeah.
But we got to see the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. So.
Hey, the trouble with LSU right now is, you said maybe UCLA is a good team, but LSU is supposed to be an elite program. That you're only supposed to be losing on a regular basis to elite teams.
Right.
You don't want to be losing to the good teams. There's a lot of good teams on LSU's schedule. You can't good teams. You got a serious trouble. Yeah, but you got a serious problem. The schedule's not gonna look too good. There's a lot of good teams on your schedule.
Yes.
So you're better than losing the good teams.
Yep. And I think that's where he's at. I think he caught lightning in a bottle with the quarterback who took him to a level. Had he not had Joe Burrows, we'd have a new coach in Baton Rouge. Joe Burrows was it. Do what?
Yeah, it's a Gene Chizik deal all over again.
Yep. Actually, we didn't think about it that way when doing that, but he was probably almost as important to LSU. They had more talent around him than Cam Newton had, but he was the guy who was a trigger man. And we forget about that coach that he brought in for that 1 year as well, who kind of took over the offense, and that was the difference. And he doesn't have any of that now. So I think he'll be on the hot seat. Deal, no deal. Ed Orgeron out at LSU at the end of the year.
Yeah, again, like I said, if you can't beat good teams, then you're gonna be out. Because if you don't beat Mississippi State, that schedule will get ugly real fast.
Yeah.
Mississippi State, you guys for LSU is a must win. And you know that comment he made about the uniforms of UCLA? That's funny and cute, man, if you win a lot.
Yeah.
If you don't win a lot, then that makes you look like that's why you're not Nick Saban. That's why you're not elite, stuff like that. Now, if you win like Nick Saban, that would be considered funny and cute.
Yeah.
It's always funny, but you better be winning a lot when you make comments like that.
Yep. Well, all right, Robert. I appreciate you, man. Now you still was is he out or not? Deal, no deal. You told me I couldn't hedge my bet.
Right. Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's just gonna get bad. Ole Miss is looking good. Texas A&M like they're gonna beat them. Yeah, I think he's out.
Yeah, he's gonna lose probably 4 games this year. He's already down 1, and I know there's at least 2 or 3 more teams that he's gonna go down to for sure. And then he might slip up on another good team. So, all right, take care, Robert. Have a good one, man. Call back anytime. I have not got it. Joe has it if you gave it to him though.
No, I didn't, but I asked Ryan to text me.
He hasn't, so I'll follow up with Ryan. You talking about Ryan Fowler?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get it from Ryan.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. All right. Joe, deal. Hey, what's your thoughts on Mac? And then we'll kick deal, no deal. Any other questions to the other half? What's your thoughts on Mac Jones and him being the best quarterback Nick Saban's ever had?
Oh, yeah, it's easy. Bryce Young is definitely the most talented quarterback that Coach Saban's ever had. You kind of hit it. He's a very good mixture of all the last 3.
Yeah.
He process at such a high speed, like Tua and Mac, that he's able to use his athleticism, like Tua and Jalen, to take advantage. I don't think we talked about heart rate a little bit. I don't think his heart rate got too high on Saturday. Even with bullets flying all around him, he was just kind of cool, calm, and collected. He looked like it was easy just to walk in the park. And that first touchdown pass, Martin, stepping up through the pocket, navigating the line of scrimmage, going parallel to the line of scrimmage, knowing I don't need to cross this line of scrimmage, and then You touched on it earlier, Marty. He can use his legs if he wants to, and we kind of saw a little bit of that on Saturday, just in the escapability in the pocket. He didn't use his legs for running down the field, but just maneuvering the pocket. I think for his age and for his experience level, to have a first-time start like that and to look so impressive against a defense that's blitzing their butt off the whole game. I think he played really well, and I think he acquitted himself. And I know that Roberts. We're stuck on what Mac Jones did last year as from a production standpoint. I think Bryce Young will put all that to bed in about 12 weeks. You just got to give him time.
Real quick on that. He took a team that had 8, 9 new starters, including himself, based on how you count the starters, and got 44 points. Joe. And against a team that blitzed him, we don't realize that Miami defense. It's not at the caliber of what Georgia's is from an elite standpoint, but to the chaos they tried to create through their blitzing was what Georgia did to DJ. up in Carolina. That's what Clemson. I mean, that's what Miami was trying to do to Bryce Young. But you take the difference. How many times did you hear the announcers go, he has to use his legs and take off? Well, Bryce never had to really take off, but he threatened it early and immediate, right? And that's what you talk about on that touchdown. Once he did that, that's what made that guy come up, because he had to respect his run, and then he dumped it off. DJ never threatened to run. Therefore, Georgia figured out, oh, he's going to be stationary. And man, they took off at landmarks, and his landmarks were not moving. And DJ's was. Now, like I said, I know it was two different types of caliber of defenses, but one guy had a lot more experience in playing in DJ than Bryce, but you would have thought Bryce had been starting, for 3 years with the way he handled the pressure. They threw some crazy, crazy blitzes, all out blitzes. That his first touchdown, they sent like 8, 9 guys on the goal line, and he had his choice. And he calmly just waited, boom, dropped it off. So talent-wise, I'm with you. Now, will he have the stats and all of that? You just never know how a season's going to be called. But talent-wise, I'm with you. He looks like he has everything you want in a quarterback if you were checking off the boxes, except for height, and I don't know that matters in today's game anymore. So we'll come back. We'll have a couple more deal no deal questions right here, and then we'll have Johnson Martian Dentistry Christian Moment of the Week.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the towns of East Alabama, there are no wrecks. Traffic steady on McFarland eastbound coming into Northport from early. Congestion on Culver Road near Goodrich. If you see other conditions, give us a call. Towns of East out of Tuscaloosa has a great selection with low finance rates, extra rebates. Go save a bundle at Towns of East. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
At Target, we know there are a lot of firsts when it comes to going back to school. First impressions, first chapters, first day photos. So with easy and safe ways to shop like order pickup, drive up, and school list assist, make Target your first stop back to school.
This is Renee.
Happy to be here.
She's not some influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker, turning her 4-acre lot into a little slice of heaven behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Renee runs with us because the most important job is the next one.
That's all I got.
Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.com. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Don't forget, we are taking score predictions for Mercer, and the tiebreaker, of course, is total rushing yards. Before I go any further, Joe, I think this means that I'm transitioning into another phase of life. Of course, I have 4 awesome children, and my last one turns 19 today. So next year, I will no longer have any teenagers. So happy birthday to Mr. Simeon Houston. Many of you may have followed his football journey. And he was going to go play football at Mississippi College. And Joe decided that he would, instead of follow me through football, he'd follow me into ministry. And he is in Bible college at Hollins College, setting to go into the ministry. So happy birthday to Simeon Houston, my caboose, our caboose. And I guess, yeah, when you have 4 kids and the baby is 19 to be 20 next year, I guess that means I'm transitioning as well, right? So let's go ahead and get back to Deal No Deal. I'll toss it back to you, Joe.
All right, Martin, and happy birthday to Simeon, of course, and then congratulations on everything he's going on. And almost out of your teens, so congratulations.
yeah. I mean, I have 4 between. I guess I should have been saying that my oldest is 30. That's probably as telling as anything, right?
Shows the span.
All right.
So, Martin, we're playing Mercer this weekend, and Alabama put the beat down on Miami this past weekend. A real team who's actually is ranked. We did get to see some backups. Paul Tyson and Jalen Milroe got in along with many other backups. So, Martin, deal or no deal, this Mercer game is pointless to Alabama because we still play backups whenever we're playing a real strong Power 5 team.
I would disagree. I would say, they did get to play, but not a lot. And it's a different mindset. I'm not opposed to having these types of games as probably as much as most people are, because I think it's key to how Nick Saban builds his program. Even though those guys got to play, they didn't play a lot, Joe. And like I think Tyson and Miro, for example, split a drive, and did not get to complete a drive. In this game, you would expect that both of those guys would get a chance to actually play. To me, it's sort of like a JV game. Last night, Northridge played Bryant JV and won. And one of my running backs who has gotten to play on Friday night, he had 2 touchdowns last night. But he's probably not going to get a touchdown on a Friday night unless we're up, even more than what we've been able to be up. So it is valuable in keeping guys engaged. I think that's part of Nick Saban's secret to keeping 5 stars connected and engaged when they're not playing all the time. So I wouldn't say pointless. It's not exciting for us as fans, but I think it's part of Nick Saban's process.
I think it's certainly part of Nick Saban's process. I'm just thinking about watching the 3 hours of television and how uncomfortable that's going to make me on Saturday. So
well,
avoid that.
Here's the question. I deal no deal. Will this game be closer than last week's game?
Oh heck no, Martin. It's going to be about the same. I mean, now granted, you're going to get score predictions where people are going to 77-0, and it's not going to be like that. Coach Saban's not going to get up to the 60s. Unless it's just on accident, really. It'll be well in hand, but it won't be closer than 44-13. It'll probably be right around that, in my opinion. Yeah. It'll probably be something like 49-10 or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was. It won't be. It probably won't be. It potentially could offensively get like crazy, but I think he'll quickly make the change if it seems to be getting that way. And then, of course, Mercer running that triple option is what will slow the game down or speed the game up. I say slow.
What did Southern score a handful? Was it 42-21? Was that it?
What was that?
When Georgia Southern came and they ran through something through a tin horn.
It was bad. I don't.
42-21.
I can't remember the exact thing, but it was low. And these guys are even further removed from playing triple option than that group was. They I don't know if any of these guys have ever even seen triple option in terms of their playing time. Maybe once or twice, maybe, but that's the only reason I say it could be close to what the score was last week, not because of talent level, just because of style of play, and that clock just continues to run, Joe.
Well, you still got to have Jimmys and Joes to get on the scoreboard.
Absolutely.
The clock may run, but I don't see them getting into the end zone too much.
I don't either.
The Southern game was 45-21.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that this Mercer team
is as good.
Has the talent that Georgia Southern has had through their program in the last 10 years.
Agree.
That's all I got for you.
Hey,
as we head for week 3. We're going into Mercer week. You got anything before we turn over to you? Got any final thoughts or closing thoughts you want to get into before we turn it over to Scotty Hollins?
Yeah. Did you watch the Ole Miss game? I know we hadn't talked a lot about.
Get to watch a lot of the Ole Miss game. Yes.
The first half, 4 kids got thrown out for targeting. Okay. And by the rules, Joe, they were all targeting, right? All 4 of them put their helmet down, crown of their head. But did you realize they were, all of the targetings came from the booth? I mean, I talked to some officials last night. Think about what we're looking for if the booth are going to be that active in calling targeting calls. You probably, to me, targeting in some ways, if you're going to start making that, if the crown of the head touches, it's done. It's going to become like holding. And the difference is there's no one up in the booth reviewing holding calls, right? But the flow of that game was so bad to me because 4 times the booth called targeting in the first half. And I don't know if you go ahead.
Oh, no, you're on it.
Yeah.
On it. That wasn't cut in.
Yeah. I look at that and go, I understand the rule, Joe, and I'm not anti-targeting, okay? But when that rule first came out, Joe, what was the purpose of targeting? To stop what? Launches, vicious hits, and to protect what? Defenseless players.
Yeah.
That was that. Do what now?
Gotta protect the ball carrier.
Yeah, protect quarterbacks that's running out in open field or receivers going over the middle. That was the main gist of it. An add-on to that was, of course, hey, let's get the licks out.
Out of the game. What do you think about that?
That's exactly where I was going, Joe. You need to have like basketball, flagrant 1, flagrant 2, or whatever you want to call it. But those targeting rules were not vicious hits. They were not give a kid a 15-yard penalty if you get 2 in one game, out. If you do helmet down, launch, defensive player, boom. Maybe you get thrown out, but at least because all four of those kids would have been able to stay in the game, Joe, if you had a level one, level two, because not one of those licks were a vicious, I'm trying to embarrass this guy, I'm going to hurt him, I'm launching, they were all like the defender. And then the fact, one of the officials I talked to last night, he said his problem was when you punish the defensive player who positions himself in perfect tackling position, and then all of a sudden the offensive player changes the trajectory point and it causes the defensive player to try to adjust. Think about that, Joe. If you're aiming at my chest, okay, and I'm down in a position and you're aiming at my chest to tackle me, and you've already committed to that, what's the only thing you can do to get lower and try to avoid hitting me once I go a little bit lower as a running back?
I mean, it's a huge process of just going who can go lower and lower and lower and lower until the point of contact.
But if you've already committed yourself because you see my numbers, and you've already committed yourself to go, the only part of your body that you can now adjust is what? Your head and neck. So that's why these guys are hitting with the crown of their head, because they're launching, and then the offensive player. I told a guy, I said I would have caused guys to get targeting virtually every play, because right before you got ready to hit me, all you were going to get was my shoulder pads or my helmet. You weren't going to get to my body. I was going to try to keep you from getting to my body. So anyway, we can talk more about targeting, but you and I are on the same page. They need to adjust their punishment so that these kids aren't getting thrown out of games when they're trying to do everything right. Coming back on the other side, we'll have our Johnson & Marshall Dentistry Christian Moment of the Week with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries.
Time 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend East Auto Traffic Center, no wrecks. Traffic steady on McFarland eastbound coming into Northport to Merlene. Congestion on Culver Road near Goodrich. If you see other conditions, give us a call.
Hey, Martin.
credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show. Your home for Alabama's Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. It's now time for our catch up with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries. It is time for us to get things rolling. Good morning, Scotty. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, Martin. I'm doing fantastic. And how about you?
Doing great, man. Can't complain. Cannot complain. So I'm going to toss it to you to encourage us once again how to incorporate our faith into our chosen field of play, whether it's the boardroom, the classroom, or wherever we find ourselves living this walk.
Absolutely, Martin. I know you were excited about jumping into our character program with the city schools. We've got one more week, and just to give everybody on what we'll be doing, starting next week for the next 10 weeks, we will be covering 10 character qualities. These same 10 character qualities, our student athletes in our Tuscaloosa City Schools will be receiving these 10 character qualities from a character base. They're fully character based. We will put a spiritual element to it on this show. And so each week, we will select student athletes from each of our city schools in Tuscaloosa City. And these kids will be chosen as champions of character for the specific character quality for that week. So I want you to take a look at the newspaper on every Saturday. It'll be on the back of the sports page. Take a look at that page and celebrate those kids for being chosen as champions of character for that specific character quality. This week, you can take a look at the paper on the backside of sports, and you will see the coaches who will be helping lead that character program. So I want to give a shout out to Dr. Daria for his leadership and vision for even getting this started and allowing me to help lead it. So anyway, today what I want to do is kind of lay a framework for just foundation. And for character. So I want to do just a framework for character. And so from the Bible. Right? So when you look at Romans 12:1, one of my favorite passages of scripture I've shared this passage on this show a number of times. It is an amazing, I think, blueprint for the believer in terms of character. Here's why. Paul is talking to a group of believers, and he tells them, he says, in view of God's mercy, he says, I want you to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. He says, this is your reasonable act of worship. I'm going to break it down to what I got. You got 3-4 minutes, Martin. I'm going to have to move fast so I can do this. This is normally 40 minutes, but we're going to do 4. Okay, so he says, in view of God's mercy, here's what he means there. When Paul tells him, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, here's what he's telling them. In view of God's mercy is focusing on the fact that God has been merciful to this group of believers. Again, they're believers. They've accepted Christ. They are forgiven for their sins. And what he was helping them understand is it took mercy from God for that to happen through Christ. So he says, God was merciful to you. He didn't give you what you deserve, but he gave you grace and mercy. He forgave you through because they accepted Jesus Christ. They were completely forgiven. So he said, allow that mercy, the fact that you didn't get what you deserve, which is God's wrath, but you got forgiveness and spending eternity with him. He says, let that motivate you to offer your body as a living sacrifice. And I'm going to just cut to the chase. When you think about offering your body as a living sacrifice, that's alive, living, sacrifice, dead. So it's like you're alive, but it's weird. So it's an oxymoron. And I've used over the years that I think covers it. It's living life off of the throne. So it's as a believer, again, you have relinquished control of your life. You have allowed Christ to take the throne of your life, and now he's in control. You're alive, but you're not in control anymore. You're off the throne, and you're kneeling at the foot of the throne, submitting to the one who sits on the throne. And guess what? Here's how you do that. Here's how you live life off the throne. Well, let me first of all let me say this. As soon as you surrender the throne, you're forgiven. So it's not like, okay, if I'm a good person, then I can say forgiven. No, it's you accept Christ. That's all you have to do to be forgiven. And then it's out of gratitude for him giving you this free gift that we, in turn, live that life off the throne and show him our gratitude. But here's the thing. You live life off the throne answering one question. Remember remember we played a long time ago, us old dudes? What would Jesus do, right?
That's
What would
right.
Jesus do?
All right.
As you live your life watching what would Jesus do, essentially that's how you live life on the throne, and that's how you're becoming more like Jesus every day. Guess what? That's the character for any believer. You live life off the throne, you focus on the Savior, you focus on becoming more like Him. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to be growing in character, truly. You're loving. Why? Because He is. You're going to be more forgiving. Why? Because He is. You're going to have more grace. Why? Because He does. And so that's our character program. And so this what we'll be focusing on, again, for these next 10 weeks are character qualities that we're sharing with our kids and who are student athletes in middle school and high school, right in our city school system. And we are excited about being able to celebrate them each week. So go to Instagram and celebrate a kid that you know. Put his picture in there and just give them a shout out, celebrate them.
That's awesome. And one of the other things in view of God mercies, I always tell people, and remember that mercy is new every morning. So if you slip up and mess up, start over tomorrow one more time because His mercy is still there, fresh and new. And then, of course, living sacrifice. I always love to tell people it's dead man walking. Your opinions don't really matter. It's what He says that means it all. So thanks, Scotty. Tell our listeners real quick where they can find you, sir.
Absolutely. You can find me at www.blueprinttrustsolutions.com. You can send me a message there and come straight to my email.
All right. That's Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries, presented by Johnson and Marshall Dentistry. Christian moment of the week. Thanks so much, Scotty. We'll catch up with you next week, man. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
All right. As we wrap things up, I want to remind you that we'll be back tomorrow for more recruiting news as well as more conversation regarding Alabama football. Thanks to Joe, Scotty, callers, listeners, chatters, everyone being a part of the program. We'll be right here tomorrow. And remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding, all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Towns of East Auto Traffic Center.